The first time Eliza noticed it happening was on a Tuesday in late autumn. She had woken with a start. Heart racing, the fragments of her dream still vivid behind her eyelids. She fumbled for the journal she kept on her nightstand, a habit her therapist had suggested months ago, and began to write. I was standing on the edge of a cliff, but I wasn't afraid. Below me stretched an ocean that seemed both infinite and somehow contained. Like it existed only for me. The waves weren't crashing, they were communicating. Each ripple formed words I couldn't quite read, but somehow understood. The answer is in the pattern, a voice said. Not my voice. Not anyone's voice I know. Later that day, Eliza found herself stuck on a coding problem that had plagued her team for weeks. She stared at her monitor, the cursor blinking accusingly when her mind drifted to the dream. The pattern. On impulse, she rearranged the function sequence, looking not at individual components but at the rhythm of the system itself. 20 minutes later, the solution emerged. Just had a moment of clarity, she told her supervisor, unable to explain that the answer had come to her from the depths of unconsciousness. The dreams continued. Some nights she was floating through elaborate architectural structures that couldn't exist in waking life. Other nights she conversed with people she'd never met, who seemed to know everything about her. Each morning she documented these nocturnal journeys with increasing detail, the journal becoming a map of her subconscious landscape. Her colleague Marcus noticed the change in her. You seem different lately, he remarked over coffee. More present, somehow. Eliza smiled, fingering the edge of her journal. I've been listening to myself better. 3 months into her dream documentation, Eliza noticed patterns. Certain symbols recur, doors that opened to unexpected places, water that changed color with her emotions. A clock tower whose hands moved backward. She began cross-referencing these symbols with daily events, and realized her dreams weren't merely processing the days. They were preparing her for what lay ahead. The night before her mother called with news of her father's stroke, Eliza had dreamed of a book whose pages were being erased one by one. The week she met Jacob, who would later become her husband. She had dreamed repeatedly of finding rooms in her childhood home she'd never known existed. Sometimes I think I'm solving problems in my sleep, she confessed to Jacob after they'd been dating for several months. Not just work problems, life problems, questions I didn't even know I was asking. Jacob, a neuroscientist by training, wasn't dismissive. The brain doesn't shut down during sleep. In some ways, it's more active, making connections the conscious mind overlooks. You've just gotten better at remembering and using what it tells you. As years passed, Eliza's journal collection grew. Her dreams evolved from symbolic puzzles to elaborate narratives that spanned multiple nights. As if her sleeping mind was creating a parallel existence. She learned to recognize when a dream held significance, and when it was merely the mind's housekeeping. On her 40th birthday, Jacob gifted her a handcrafted wooden box for her journals. For the Dreamwalker, the inscription read, "Is that what I am?" she asked, running her fingers over the polished wood. "You walk between worlds every night," he said. "You bring back wisdom most people never access. If that's not dreamwalking, I don't know what is." That night, she dreamed of standing in a vast library, where each book contained a different person's dreams. She found her own volumes and saw that they connected to countless others, through invisible threads of shared symbols and meanings. In the dream, she understood that no dreamer was truly alone, that the subconscious mind tapped into something collective and boundless. She woke with tears on her face and a sense of profound connection. In her journal, she wrote, "We think dreams are private, but they're our most honest conversation with humanity. Every night, we speak a language that transcends words, spinning stories from the same ancient threads. What if our greatest insights don't come from conquest or competition, but from this vulnerable state where boundaries dissolve? What if true wisdom comes when we surrender to the unknown, and let it speak through us?" Years later, when her first grandchild asked what dreams were for, Eliza smiled and said, "Dreams are letters we write to ourselves, delivered while we sleep. Sometimes they're nonsense, sometimes they're prophecies. But if you learn to read them, you'll never face life's questions alone." That night, she dreamed of passing her journals to her granddaughter, who received them with recognition in her Ice as if she already knew their value, as if she too had been walking between worlds all along.